Hello, listeners, and welcome to Youth Ventures podcast, PDX Business Spotlight. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of PDX Business Spotlight. Today, we are so excited to welcome Natalie Edwards, who is the owner of Lucille and Annie's Poundcakes. So, Natalie, can you please start off and give an overview of who you are, what your business is about, and how you got started?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. So my name is Natalie Edwards, and I specialize in pound cakes, more of the Southern style. And I got started. How did I get started? I've been kind of baking most of my life. I spent my summers in Mississippi following behind my grandmother's, which is what my business is named after. Lucille is my father's mother, and Annie is my mom's mom. Wow. So it's been a week at each of my grandparents' house. And so the pound cakes are inspired from what I ate as a kid growing up, going down south and being with my family and my cousins. I lived in Georgia for about 20 years. I was just kind of fooling around, making pound cakes, giving them away basically. And it wasn't till I moved back up to the Pacific Northwest that I was a little bit more serious, and my mom was on me that needed to stop giving them away and start turning it into a profit. So yeah, that's how I got started.
Yeah, Natalie, I think it's really interesting that you kind of based this off of what you ate as a child, and you really honored your grandparents by naming your business after them as well. So are there any traditions passed down from your grandmas that you still use in your baking today?
Oh, that's a good question. But in both households, I look at it like food was love. Especially in the Black community, it's, everybody comes together around the table, especially when everybody's coming home. My grandparents, especially my grandmothers would be excited because, me and my sister were the two grandkids that were the furthest away. And, it was just, it was always food in the household. But specifically remember the 7-Up pound cake, which I make, is one that from my childhood that was always around. And I find when I make that one that even here an older segment of the population, even if they're not from the South, they've had somebody make that pound cake. So it holds some nostalgia. But I do have a couple of recipes from my grandmother Annie, still trying to decipher her handwriting and get the recipe right before I actually my goal this year is to get it out on the website for the holidays. So that's one I'm still tinkering around with.
Oh, so just a follow-up question with that. Mm-hmm. So did you actually create the flavors that you bake and currently sell? Are there any recipes that you based off of what you ate as a child made by your grandmas?
The 7-Up is a childhood one. Some of them I've just found in magazines. There's one I make, a bourbon pecan pound cake. Wow. I found that just digging around. That was the recipes from the turn of the century, early 1900s. So that was that's not in my family, but that's just one I just found. My grandmother Annie has a carrot cake recipe. That's the one I'm still trying to decipher her handwriting and get right. So yeah, there's some that's some of it, I use a lot. with the pecans, I lived in Georgia, so that's my ode, back to Georgia. And the peach pound cake that I do. Georgia's known for its peaches, but just some. Yeah, to answer your question, there's the one cake recipe. The 7-Up is one that was always around, and just kind of inspiration from different places I've lived in the South.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And Natalie, who or what inspired you to start your business?
I would say my mom jumped all over me. I have 2 classmates. They bake on the side. They have, full-time jobs. They made a really good profit. Just kind of, and we all graduated from Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. And so it's funny talking to one of them. Specializes in the real decorative fondant type cakes, and then Ashley tried to show Scott how to do that, and he's just like, I can't, I'm not fooling with it. He sticks with the more traditional red velvet carrot cakes. But we've all, I've talked to them, getting pointers, lessons learned, type of things. But I would say, my mom fussing at me, and then my 2 classmates.
And Natalie, how has being a person of color and being the owner of a BIPOC-owned business affected your business, either positive or negative?
The positive would be after the reckoning that the country's gone through after George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and people being more supportive of businesses of color, because when the economy goes bad, we're the first to close our doors. So I find that's been positive, with people being more intentional, spending money at businesses of color, just not myself, but other places. And then just even some businesses of color in the area, we get together, try to help each other out, find avenues for grants, what's working, what's not working, how to take our businesses to another level. The negative, being small, not being really known. After then the COVID pandemic hit, I found I was having a really hard time trying to tap into that, the money that was given out for my business, because right now it's just me. So that's been the frustrating part. But the upside is I've finally been able to meet folks that have a hand, can help me, get there. So I think that'll turn around some.
Wow, it's really great how even with all the negative aspects of all the effects of the pandemic, and also the struggles of being a singular person who's owning a business, you're still able to connect with a lot of other BIPOC businesses and still succeed.
Yeah, it's like we're all in the same boat. It's I find just trying to surround myself with people that, with positive intentions that are positive, willing to share. Networking is one of my strengths, and try to stay positive about that.
Yeah. And Natalie, what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs of color? And are there any experiences you could talk about that might motivate or inspire them?
So prior to starting this business, there's a gentleman I listened to Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey. It's all about trying to get out of debt. And I remember on his shows, he said, if you start a business, do not treat it like a hobby. Treat it as a revenue maker. He always says that. He says that on his show. And so when I started this was not a hobby. So that's the first thing for a young entrepreneur. Just don't treat it like a hobby. It's a business. Have a plan. Have goals. I set goals for myself each month. I try to focus on one or two things each month to get better at, because I'm just one person. And don't stop learning. I watched the show on CNBC, The Profit, where people are in business but they're not making money. And I have the same issue with some of these people. I have like a grand idea and want to go right when I should be going left. Just focus on those type of things. Sometimes I watch the Sharks, just to see what type of effects those people's businesses are having, like, their startup, how much it's costing them. And never stop networking. Listen to your gut. There's some people like don't have good intent. If your gut goes off or the hairs on the back of your neck, don't tune that out. But definitely don't treat it like a hobby, and set your goals and have a plan, and just and keep it in front of you, just so you're checking it off to stay on track.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Natalie. And this might be a bit of a hard question, but what's your favorite flavor of pound cake? And especially, what's a flavor that you would definitely recommend our followers and our listeners to try first?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Somebody asked me that the other day at my people market, and I just stared off in space because I couldn't even give them one. Oh man, I would say for nostalgia, the 7-Up, because you will. Yeah, I will say you will. When I take it out the pan and cut it up, and I'll purposely save myself a little slice or cook it just like the crust of it. And yeah, I'm over there in the corner. So, and then come second would be the chocolate. Anything chocolate I love. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Those both sound so delicious. I can't wait to try them and buy from your business.
Yeah.
Natalie, how can people support your business?
Well, I have a website. It's www.lucilleandanniespoundcakes.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. Really appreciate it if you just buy a slice when I'm at a market and tag yourself. Pass the word around. I occasionally will run some specials. The Egg Drop is a Farm to Fresh that I've partnered with this year, doing vanilla loaf, because they've got all the berries and stuff, and so the vanilla loaf works really well. But yeah, just anytime I'm out and about, buy a slice or buy a cake and send it to a loved one. I've had folks do that last year, and really, really appreciate it.
Perfect. And Natalie, are there any special projects or anything else that you would like to plug? I know I saw you at the My People's Market a couple days ago, and if you had any other pop-ups coming up, you can definitely plug them right now.
Yeah, I will. Weather permitting, we have the excessive heat wave. I'm supposed to be at the Northeast Alberta market. That's where I was last year when I finally got my business going. I had really good success there. I've been at the Hillsboro Tuesday Night Market every Tuesday in Hillsboro, if you're out in that area. And that's from 4 to 8. And the next big one will be the Taste of Tigard. That's September 18th in Tigard. And I And then I'm doing the Golden Evening Market, and it's the Golden Evening is August 21st. I'm looking at my calendar.
Perfect. So listeners, if you want to visit Natalie at any of these markets and personally meet her and buy from her, we will be linking all the information and the address and dates of all these markets in the description box of wherever you're listening. So definitely go meet her and buy from her. Also, we will have her website and her social media links also linked below. So definitely go follow, like, comment, buy from her.
All right. Yeah, appreciate the plug. Thank you.
And Natalie, did you have any last words or anything else you wanted to say?
I just really appreciate you all reaching out, and even if you don't buy from me, please support your local businesses of color. We appreciate the patronage, and thanks for having me on.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Natalie. That's it from PDX Business Spotlight, and please join us in the next episode. Thank you for listening to PDX Business Spotlight by Youth Venture, and we hope to see you in the next episode.